$20 million for the capture of a diabolical man. Tonight, the feds are putting the pressure on to find the cartel leader who tortured and murdered a local DEA agent.
The world of organized crime is one of terror and control, where cartels wield immense power and influence. These criminal organizations stop at nothing to maintain their grip on entire countries, spreading fear and chaos wherever they go. But despite the overwhelming odds, there are those who refuse to bow down to the tyranny of the cartels. These courageous individuals dedicate their lives to fighting back, risking everything to bring the cartels to justice. Nicola Gratteri. Born and raised in Calabria, Italy, Gratteri grew up in a region deeply affected by the influence of organized crime. From a young age, he witnessed the devastating impact of the mafia on his community, an experience that would fuel his determination to fight against it. Growing up in a family of honest people, Gratteri was fortunate to have a strong moral compass guiding him. While many of his childhood friends were ensnared by the 'Ndrangheta, one of Italy's oldest criminal organizations, he managed to resist its allure. This stark contrast in paths could be attributed to the values instilled in him by his family and the importance of education and culture. As Gratteri pursued his education, he witnessed the brutal murders of two prominent prosecutors, Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, who were targeted by the Sicilian mafia. These tragic events left a permanent mark on Gratteri, inspiring him to take up the fight against organized crime and seek justice for the victims. After completing his studies in law, Gratteri embarked on his career as a prosecutor. His unwavering commitment to justice and his relentless pursuit of truth quickly earned him a reputation as a formidable opponent of the mafia. However, it was in 1989 that Gratteri's life took a dramatic turn. His fiancée's house was targeted in a violent attack, with gunshots fired at the property. To make matters worse, a chilling phone call in the dead of night informed her that she was marrying a dead man. This incident marked a turning point in Gratteri's life, as he realized the extent of the danger he faced for challenging the 'Ndrangheta. His dedication to the fight against organized crime has led him to oversee the biggest trial of its kind since the 1980s. With over 330 suspects testifying and 70 already convicted, this trial represents a significant blow to the 'Ndrangheta's control in the region. However, Gratteri knows this is just one battle in a much larger war. While Cosa Nostra and the Camorra may be more internationally recognized, the 'Ndrangheta has risen to prominence, dominating the global cocaine trade and controlling up to 80% of Europe's drug market. Originating in Calabria, the 'Ndrangheta has its roots in the 19th century, where it established a stronghold in the rugged and lush toe of Italy. The criminal syndicate operates through a network of family clans known as Indrine, who traditionally controlled the mountaintop villages of the Calabrian landscape. These clans are bound by blood ties and die-hard loyalty, making them a formidable force. While Cosa Nostra and the Camorra around Naples may have gained more international notoriety through their dramatic mass bombings, both have been weakened by relentless police crackdowns. This created an opportunity for the 'Ndrangheta to rise in their place, becoming Italy's most powerful mafia. The 'Ndrangheta's influence extends far beyond Italy's borders, with offshoots established around the world, from South America to Australia. Their estimated annual turnover is a staggering $60 billion, making them one of the wealthiest criminal organizations globally. Most of the cocaine is funneled through Gioia Tauro, Italy's busiest container port located in the south of Calabria. This hulking facility serves as a hub for the 'Ndrangheta's trafficking operations. Fighting against the mafia had been seen as a death sentence in the past, as the murders of the two most prominent prosecutors were a defining moment in Italy's modern history, and their heroism is still revered today. Nicola Gratteri's commitment to fighting the mafia goes beyond just simple words. He has devoted his entire career to this cause, risking his life and sacrificing everything in the process.
Sì, è dal 1989.
Do you find it intense?
Cambia la vita perché noi qualsiasi cosa devo fare, anche camminare, io non posso fare 10 metri senza la scorta a piedi.
His name has been on the kill list of mobsters for decades, but he remains hardened and focused on his mission. Although his fight against the mafia has been slow but sure, it has not come without personal losses. His family has been terrorized by the mafia clans that control the mountain villages of Calabria. Killings and kidnappings have become all too common, leaving families like Gratteri's in a constant state of fear. The 'Ndrangheta's reign of terror extends beyond Calabria. Deadly massacres in other parts of Europe have been traced back to their rivalries in Calabria. The fight against the 'Ndrangheta continues in Italy's biggest anti-mafia trial since the 1980s. The trial, which has been ongoing for the past 2 years, takes place in a converted call center to accommodate over 600 lawyers and 900 witnesses. Charges include murder, extortion, and drug trafficking. One of the 335 suspects is even an ex-MP. This trial is a crucial step in proving that the 'Ndrangheta is not untouchable. It sends a message that the state is strikingly against them. However, it is important to remember that this trial represents only one powerful clan out of an estimated 150. The fight against the Calabrian mafia is far from over, and Nicola is more than up to the task. Hipólito Mora Chávez. In the lawless region of Michoacán, Mexico, one man stood up against the tyranny of a powerful drug cartel. Hipólito Mora Chávez, a humble lime grower, became a symbol of resistance and hope for his community. La Ruana, a town plagued by the ruthless Knights Templar cartel, was transformed by the determination of Hipólito Mora Chávez. With his courage and the support of his community, he led an armed civilian defense movement that fought back against the cartel's reign of terror. From a young age, Hipólito was no stranger to hard work, growing up in a family of farmers who relied on the land for their livelihood. As a young man, Hipólito followed in his family's footsteps and became a lime grower. He dedicated himself to his work, tending to his orchards with care and precision. But little did he know that his life would take a dramatic turn, and he would become a symbol of resistance against the forces of evil. La Ruana, a town nestled in the heart of Michoacán, was once a peaceful community. However, the rise of the notorious Knights Templar cartel changed everything. The cartel's grip on the region grew stronger with each passing day, as they engaged in kidnappings, extortion, and controlled the harvesting and sale of limes grown by local farmers like Hipólito. Hipólito witnessed firsthand the atrocities committed by the cartel. He saw his fellow farmers living in fear, their lives and livelihoods at the mercy of the criminal organization. The cartel's control over the lime industry meant that the hardworking farmers of La Ruana were being exploited and oppressed. Fueled by a deep sense of injustice, Hipólito made a life-changing decision. He realized that the government had failed to protect his community, leaving them at the mercy of the cartel. In response, he took matters into his own hands. Hipólito rallied the farmers and ranchers of La Ruana, urging them to join him in forming an armed civilian defense movement. They were tired of living in fear, tired of being victims. With unwavering determination, Hipólito and his group formed a vigilante self-defense group. They armed themselves and patrolled the streets of La Ruana, vowing to protect their community from the cartel's grip. Hipólito became the leader of this courageous group, inspiring others to join the fight for justice. Hipólito's vigilante self-defense group became a force to be reckoned with. They launched successful raids on the cartel's strongholds, driving them out of Michoacán and liberating their town from the clutches of fear. Despite the success of the vigilante movement led by Hipólito Mora Chávez, the fight for justice in Michoacán was far from over. The aftermath of their victory brought new challenges and a growing sense of urgency to address the escalating violence in the region. Hipólito, now a revered figure in his community, continued to speak out against the violent gangs that plagued Michoacán. He became a vocal advocate for justice, using his platform to shed light on the ongoing struggles faced by the people. In an effort to bring about real change, Hipólito ventured into the world of politics. He ran for Congress and later for the position of a governor, hoping to use his influence to tackle the root causes of the violence that plagued his beloved Michoacán. Despite his popularity and the support of his community, Hipólito's political campaigns were ultimately unsuccessful. The entrenched corruption and political complexities of the region proved to be formidable obstacles. Undeterred by his political setbacks, Hipólito returned to his lime orchards, finding solace and purpose in the land he loved. He continued to be a voice for the voiceless, speaking out against the violent gangs and advocating for justice. As the years went by, the situation in Michoacán grew increasingly dire. The Knights Templar cartel, though driven out by the vigilante movement, was replaced by new cartels, such as the Viagras. These homegrown cartels brought a new wave of violence and terror to the region. Hipólito, ever the champion of justice, spoke out about the worsening situation in Michoacán. He highlighted the infiltration of vigilante forces by the cartels, the lack of government intervention, and the devastating impact on the lives of ordinary people. Gang violence reached unprecedented levels, suffocating local businesses and instilling fear in the hearts of the people. Michoacán became a battleground, torn apart by rival cartels and a government seemingly unable to bring about lasting peace. Tragically, on June 29, 2023, Hipólito Mora Chávez's life was cut short. He was ambushed and killed in his hometown of La Ruana, and his death sent shockwaves through the community and country. His death served as a rallying cry for the community of La Ruana, people from all walks of life united by a common goal people came together to carry on his legacy. They refused to let his sacrifice be in vain. Community-led initiatives sprang up in the wake of Hipólito's death. People organized neighborhood watch groups, self-defense classes, and educational programs to empower themselves and protect their community from the grip of the cartels. Till today, the battle for Michoacán still rages, but the people are fueled by the same fire that burned in Hipólito, and the desire to protect their homes still lives on. Miriam Rodriguez. Miriam was born in San Fernando, Tamaulipas, where she lived a seemingly ordinary life. However, due to the ongoing cartel turf wars and violence, most of Miriam's family, including her son, had already relocated away from San Fernando. The city was undoubtedly a ticking time bomb, lying alongside the principal northbound route within the state of Tamaulipas, which leads to the United States. It was here that tragedy struck when Miriam's daughter, 20-year-old Karen, was abducted by the notorious Los Zetas cartel, demanding ransom that was paid, but to no effect, and Karen was murdered in cold blood. Miriam didn't stop there like others would have done in fear of the cartel, deciding to directly investigate the killers of her daughter, and was ready to go to any lengths to achieve what she wanted. One of the key figures Miriam encountered was a man named Sama, whom she had met at a local restaurant. Despite her efforts, Sama proved to be elusive, demanding more money without revealing Karen's whereabouts. Miriam's frustration grew, but she refused to give up. She believed that Sama held crucial information about her daughter's disappearance. Miriam's determination led her to scour the internet for any trace of Sama's face or connection to the cartel. Hours turned into days as she tirelessly searched Karen's social media profile. Finally, her persistence paid off when she stumbled upon a picture of a man who bore a striking resemblance to Sama. The picture was taken at an ice cream shop in Ciudad Victoria, providing a potential lead in her search. Miriam began stalking the ice cream shop, patiently waiting for Sama to show up. Finally, the day arrived when she spotted him entering the shop. She followed him and his companion, recording their address, determined to get closer to these individuals who had taken her daughter away. To gather more information, Miriam knew she had to go undercover. She altered her appearance, cutting her hair and dyeing it bright red, ensuring that no one would recognize her. Disguised as a health worker, she conducted fake surveys in Sama's neighborhood, collecting as much information as possible about him and his associates. Despite facing resistance from the authorities, Miriam's investigation continued. She identified, bought, and located more gang members from Sama's crew, piecing together fragments of information to uncover the truth about her daughter's disappearance. Miriam's exceptional detective skills and determination brought her widespread recognition in Mexico, inspiring others to stand up against cartel violence. Miriam's vigilante detective work led her to a breakthrough when she located a large number of photographs of Sama and his gang crew. Her meticulous research and evidence discovery showcased her exceptional detective skills. She could now hunt down the rest of them. Ever since 2014, she had been tracking the people responsible for the kidnapping and murder of her daughter, and in 3 years, Mrs. Rodriguez captured nearly every living member of the crew that had abducted her daughter for ransom, a rogues gallery of criminals who tried to start new lives as a born-again Christian, a taxi driver, a car salesman, a babysitter. She knew their habits, friends, hometowns, childhoods. She knew the florist had sold flowers on the street before joining the Zeta cartel and getting involved in her daughter's kidnapping. Now he was on the run and back to what he knew, selling roses to make ends meet. Miriam's encounters with the individuals involved in her daughter's abduction left a lasting impact on her. During the questioning of Christian Jose Zapata Gonzalez, one of the culprits, Miriam displayed an unexpected act of compassion. She offered him her lunch and bought him a drink, recognizing that he was still a scared child. Miriam's kindness touched Christian, leading him to reveal crucial information about Karen's location. "I'm willing to take you to the ranch where they killed them and where their bodies should still be buried," he said in his statement to the police, referring to the victims of the kidnapping ring. Christian led the authorities to an abandoned ranch house near San Fernando, Tamaulipas. As Miriam scoured through the debris, she made a shocking discovery: a scarf belonging to her daughter Karen. The finding confirmed Miriam's worst fears, but forensic claims suggested that Karen's body hadn't been recovered at the ranch. Miriam refused to accept this, holding on to hope that her daughter's remains would be found. Miriam's encounters with the individuals involved in her daughter's abduction showcased her unwavering commitment to seeking justice. Miriam's openness about the cartel's crimes inspired other families with missing children to stand up and fight, refusing to live in fear. However, Miriam's pursuit of justice also exposed her to danger. Threats from those associated with the cartel loomed over her and eventually caught up with her. She asked the government for armed guards, fearing the cartel had finally had enough, but it didn't help. In all, she was instrumental in taking down 10 people, a mad campaign for justice that made her famous but vulnerable. On Mother's Day 2017, weeks after she had chased down one of her last targets, she was shot in front of her home and killed. Her husband, inside watching television, found her face down on the street, hand tucked inside her purse, next to her pistol. Camarena Kiki. In the 1980s, the picturesque city of Guadalajara served as the epicenter for the operations of most major narcotics traffickers in North America. Drug lords from all over Mexico, particularly from the state of Sinaloa, flocked to Guadalajara, drawn by its scenic beauty and the perceived protection they enjoyed from local politics. It was during this time that Enrique Kiki Camarena, a Mexican-born American, became a key player in the fight against drug trafficking. The drug violence in Mexico was escalating rapidly. As the cartels grew in power, so did the violence associated with the drug trade. Guadalajara, in particular, became a hotbed of criminal activity. The major traffickers, including those from Sinaloa, had migrated to Guadalajara, attracted by the city's beauty and the relative safety they enjoyed there. The rise of the drug cartels brought with it a wave of violence that engulfed the city. Shootouts, kidnappings, and brutal murders became commonplace. The cartels operated with impunity, often protected by corrupt officials and law enforcement. Amidst this chaos, Camarena and his fellow DEA agents stationed in Guadalajara worked tirelessly to gather evidence and build cases against the drug traffickers. Camarena worked undercover alongside his colleagues to gather intelligence and disrupt the operations of the powerful drug cartels that had taken hold in the region. Camarena's undercover work involved posing as a potential buyer to gain insights into the activities of the traffickers. Their efforts were met with constant threats and intimidation from the cartels. The traffickers knew that the DEA posed a significant threat to their operations and were determined to eliminate anyone who stood in their way. Camarena, known for his dedication and his exceptional undercover skills, became a prime target for the cartels. His success in infiltrating their ranks and gathering crucial information made him a thorn in their side. The major traffickers saw him as a threat to their empire and were determined to silence him. Little did Camarena know that his dedication and courage would ultimately lead to his tragic fate. On February 7, 1985, as he was on his way to meet his wife for lunch, he was abducted in broad daylight outside the DEA office in Guadalajara. The brazenness of the kidnapping sent shockwaves through the law enforcement community and marked a new level of audacity by the cartels. Camarena's disappearance sparked an intense manhunt, both for him and a Mexican pilot who had also gone missing. The Reagan administration put immense pressure on the Mexican government to find the missing men, leading to strained bilateral relations and a near closure of the U.S.-Mexico border. The search for Camarena and the pilot became a matter of national and international importance. Unfortunately, despite the extensive efforts and international attention, Camarena's body, along with that of the pilot, was discovered a month later in Michoacan. The signs of torture on their bodies were a chilling reminder of the brutality of the drug cartels. The DEA launched Operation Leyenda, its largest ever homicide investigation, to identify and capture those responsible for the kidnapping and murder. The heads of the powerful Guadalajara cartel, Ernesto Don Nedo Fonseca, Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, and Rafael Caro Quintero, were identified as the masterminds behind the heinous crime. Operación Leyenda was a massive undertaking, involving cooperation between U.S. and Mexican law enforcement agencies. The pressure to solve the case was immense, with the Reagan administration pushing for swift justice. The manhunt for Camarena's killers became a top priority, and no stone was left unturned in the pursuit of justice. The investigation soon uncovered shocking revelations of high-level corruption within the Mexican government. It became clear that the drug cartels had infiltrated the highest levels of power, with officials turning a blind eye to their criminal activities. The revelation sent shockwaves through both the U.S. and Mexican governments, exposing the extent of the corruption that had allowed the drug trade to flourish. As the manhunt intensified, the DEA faced numerous challenges. The cartels operated with a level of impunity that made capturing their leaders a daunting task. The major traffickers had vast resources at their disposal, including a network of informants and corrupt officials who protected them. The DEA agents involved in the investigation faced constant threats to their own safety as the cartels sought to intimidate and silence those who stood in their way. Despite the obstacles, the relentless pursuit of justice paid off. Ernesto Fonseca and Rafael Caro Quintero were apprehended in the months following the discovery of Camarena's body. Fonseca's arrest came in April of that year, while Quintero had fled to Costa Rica following an alleged tip-off from a senior figure in the Mexican police. Quintero was finally apprehended in a wiretap operation. The capture of Fonseca and Quintero, however, was not without controversy. Some believe that the United States could have done more to bring the criminals to trial and expose the high-level corruption within the Mexican government. The arrest of Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, the third mastermind behind Camarena's murder, proved to be more elusive. Gallardo managed to evade capture until 1989, further highlighting the challenges faced by law enforcement in dismantling the powerful drug cartels. It became clear that the drug cartels had not only infiltrated law enforcement, but also had connections to influential figures in politics. The implications of this corruption were far-reaching, with profound effects on U.S.-Mexico relations and the ongoing war on drugs. The manhunt for Camarena's killers and the subsequent revelations of high-level corruption marked a pivotal moment in the fight against drug trafficking in Mexico. It exposed the deep-rooted systemic issues that allowed the cartels to operate with impunity and highlighted the urgent need for reform. However, the fight against corruption and drug trafficking was far from over. The Guadalajara cartel may have been dismantled, but new cartels emerged, filling the void left behind. Even still, nobody will forget Camarena so easily, the man who destroyed the cartel from his grave. Alejo Garza Tamez. The Mexican cartels are known for their unlimited power, ruthless tactics, and shocking acts of violence. In the dark corners of the internet, we've come across horrifying images and videos that showcase the depravity of these criminal organizations. But what if someone single-handedly dared to stand up against them? For our final, we delve into the shocking story of Alejo Garza Tamez, also known as the executioner of the narcos. Alejo was a successful businessman, rancher, and recreational hunter. Alejo Garza Tamez was born in the quiet town of Allende, Nuevo León, nestled amidst the picturesque wooded hills of northern Mexico. Growing up in this idyllic countryside, Alejo developed a deep love for nature and outdoor activities. Alejo's father owned a successful sawmill, and together with his brothers, they helped their father harvest and sell lumber at their stores in Montemorelos and Allende. It was here that Alejo learned the value of hard work and reliability, traits that would become synonymous with his name. As Alejo transitioned into adulthood, he found himself drawn to the thrill of hunting and fishing. He became an enthusiastic member of a hunting, fishing, and shooting club in Allende, where he honed his skills as a marksman. Alejo's natural talent and dedication soon earned him a reputation as a skilled shooter, capable of hitting his targets with remarkable precision. Alejo's passion for hunting led him to amass a vast collection of sporting rifles over the years. Each firearm was meticulously cared for, cleaned, and maintained, a testament to his dedication and respect for the craft. As Alejo's success grew, so did his ambitions. With the assistance of his brother, he purchased the San Jose Ranch in Tamaulipas, a sprawling property located just 15 kilometers from Ciudad Victoria. Little did Alejo know that his peaceful life on the ranch would soon be shattered by the arrival of the ruthless narcos. It was a fateful day in November 2010 when members of the Los Zetas cartel approached Alejo Garza Tamez, demanding that he hand over his ranch for their illicit drug-running operations. They gave him a chilling ultimatum: comply within 24 hours or face certain death. But Alejo, known for his unwavering determination, refused to back down, telling them that he would be waiting for them. With a steely resolve, Alejo gathered his farm workers and ordered them to take the next day off. He knew he had to face the impending danger alone. As night fell, Alejo retreated to his personal cellar, retrieving his extensive collection of hunting and sporting weapons. He placed the firearms strategically by the doors and windows, preparing for the battle that lay ahead. The following morning, a convoy of cartel vehicles entered the ranch, positioning themselves near the entrance of Alejo's house. The assassins fired a warning shot into the air, their intentions clear. They proclaimed their intent to forcefully seize the ranch, underestimating the resolve of the man they were up against. In response to the cartel's aggression, Alejo unleashed a hail of bullets from the windows, catching the gang members off guard. The ranch became a battleground, with rifles and grenades being exchanged between the two sides. Despite the numerical superiority of the cartel, Alejo's strategic positioning of weapons and his years of hunting and shooting experience gave him a significant advantage. Alejo moved swiftly from opening to opening, firing at the gang members with deadly accuracy. His actions created the illusion of multiple shooters, making it difficult for the cartel to predict his next move. The ranch echoed with the sound of gunfire and explosions as the battle raged on. The cartel members, realizing his defense, began to retreat. Despite their initial confidence, they were no match for the determination and skill of the executioner of the narcos. 6 of their own were left behind, abandoned by their comrades. As the dust settled, the Mexican Marines arrived at the scene. They found a deserted house, partially destroyed by bullet holes and grenade explosions. Inside, they discovered the lifeless body of Alejo Garza Tamez, sustaining 2 fatal bullet wounds, one in the chest and another in the head. It was a testament to his unwavering commitment to defending his property. The inspection of the ranch house revealed guns and shell casings in every window and door, a testament to Alejo's strategic plan to fight alone. It was clear that he had prepared himself for this battle, determined to protect what was rightfully his. The news of Alejo's heroic last stand spread like wildfire, despite initial reluctance from local media institutions due to the cartel's power. He quickly became a cultural icon, admired for his courage and defiance against organized crime. Alejo Garza Tamez's legacy lives on, inspiring various Mexican musicians to compose corridos in his remembrance. His story has been immortalized in books such as Don Winslow's The Cartel, and even adapted into an independent film titled Massacre in San Jose. Despite the significant media attention Alejo's story garnered, no formal investigation into his murder or charges against the Los Zetas cartel has been pursued. The administrative power of the cartel cast a shadow of fear over the local media institutions, leaving justice elusive. Nevertheless, Alejo Garza Tamez remains a prominent cultural icon, celebrated for his unwavering courage and defiance against organized crime. News sites and social media platforms have hailed him as a symbol of dignity, honor, and courage, fighting against the forces that sought to exploit and terrorize his community. Did you enjoy this video? Click on any of the cards on your screen right now for similar content. Thank you.